Hello world, this is Jeffrey, JGB146 Blake, coming to you with a new series that we'll call Tord.Garde. For those of you who aren't aware, Tord Reklev over the weekend won the Oceanic Internationals. This is the third international championship in a row that Tord has won, which is an achievement that no one else has come close to. No one has won two previously, let alone two back-to-back. And he's not two back-to-back, he's at three back-to-back. So props to Tord. Each time he has sort of made a definitive build of a deck that had been, in two cases, not really even played previously. And the latest build that he introduced and is blowing things away with is a Zoroark Gardevoir build. So you can see on the screen, I've only played a few games with it. It's doing really well for me. Obviously, 2 out of 3, that's like 60. I think it's actually 3 out of 4 right now. PTCGO has a delay in updating this for some reason. But, so that's 75%, but it's out of a very low sample size. However, those games were actually good games. They are actually difficult games, which isn't always the case when you start a new deck list for some reason. Anyway, let's go ahead. I expect that to continue. I want to see how it plays out against some of the metal that's coming out of Ultra Prism, because those are the few situations I haven't yet been able to test it against. But I'm excited about this deck, and we'll definitely be covering some more matchups. But let's go ahead and dig into the cards in it. So, I've made a couple modifications, and I'll tell you what they are. And you can either stick with them or not. So, the list as Tord ran it was exactly like this, with the exception that he had 4 copies of Zoroark-GX instead of 1 copy of the stand-in Zoroark. I still like the stand-in Zoroark. I like the damage that you can get with one prize attacker potentially hitting up to 190. That's just something I can't turn down yet. It's been too good a thing. But, you know, he knows better than I with the decks that he faces. I just know in the meta I'm in, that's too good to turn down for me. Then we have a Gardevoir line that is a 4-1-2 line. So 4 Ralts, 0 Kirlia, 1 Gallade, and 2 GXs. That's exactly as Tord had it. The thought basically here is that between Zoroark-GX and Mallow, you'll be able to get rare candies when you need them. I have not ever had a problem getting a Gardevoir out basically a turn or two after I get Zoroark out, if it takes even that long. Sometimes it's the same turn you get Zoroark out, depending on how your setup went. We have a 1 of Giratina for the Devour Light ability, turning off Pokemon break abilities. So that's basically for Greninja, so that they can't use Giant Water Shuriken. And I guess I should go through stand-in, Mind Jack, 30 for each of your opponent's bench. That's how it gets times 5 is 160. Plus a choice would be 190. So that's how you can get the damage there. For those not familiar, Zoroark-GX has the trade ability, discard 1 card, draw 2 more cards. The combo there with Mallow basically lets you get any 2 cards you want on a given turn. The Zoroark ability does stack. So if you have 3 of them out, you can trade away 3 cards and get 6 extra cards plus your initial draw. And then you can still play a draw supporter if you need to. Or you can play a different supporter. We also, helping out in that process, is Gallade with the Premonition ability. Once during your turn, you can look at the 5 top cards of your deck and put them back in any order. So there are interesting things you can do here, because you can use this ability midway through to get the specific cards you want, or you could use it to see if the cards you want are there, and then you could play a card that shuffles your deck, like an Evosoda or a Lele or so that you can time your plays there to control or at least influence what you're getting off a trade, even if you're not getting exactly the 2 cards you want, or even if the ones you want aren't in the top 5. You can manipulate things to increase your odds there. And then, of course, our biggest hitter, our big attacker, is Gardevoir-GX with the Secret Spring ability to attach an extra fairy energy every turn. Again, this stacks, so if you have 2 Gardevoirs out, you can attach 2 extra fairy energies. But we only play 4 fairy energies, so I mean, there's only so far that goes. We have a Mew-EX. Mew is basically, so we've got some techs, right? We have Giratina here for the Greninja matchup. We have Mew here pretty much for the matchup against Buzzwole. Buzzwole Lycanroc, Buzzwole whatever. Mew-EX is a great attacker against Buzzwole because unless they can manage to get all 3 of their energies on, they cannot hit Mew, and it becomes a multiple Buzzwole to take a KO on a 120 HP Pokemon. Well, you're going to KO them with almost any attack you're using. You can copy Baby Zoroark's attack, and you can hit for like 400 damage, which if they had a full bench. You can copy Zoroark-GX's attack of Riotous Beating, and if you have a full bench, you're hitting for 240. Again, Oko. You can even copy Gardevoir-GX's or Gallade's attacks. So Gallade, Sensitive Blade, does 60 damage plus 70 more if you use a supporter. So with Mew-EX hitting against a Buzzwole, that's going to be a nice 120 with an extra 140. So again, 260, one-hit KO territory. So it almost doesn't matter what Pokemon you have for a DCE or possibly a Fairy in a DCE. You can be Okoing Buzzwole with Mew. And any other Psychic type decks are going to be similar. Because obviously those numbers will knock anything out. But anything that's weak to Psychic, Mew is sort of your glass cannon. Of course, we play 3 copies of Lele for Wonder Tag to get the supporters we want when we want them. A lot of times you'll be getting either a draw supporter, a Guzma, or a Mallow. And then, of course, I guess setting up with Brigette. We play several one-ofs that might look kind of strange because usually you'd want to play max consistency, lots of one-ofs. And especially Tord is known for max consistency. One-ofs is kind of strange. But we play 4 Puzzles of Time to reuse whatever cards we actually need for the matchup we're in without having to play so many copies of everything. We play 1 Enhanced Hammer, 3 Evosodas to get our Zoroarks out, 1 Field Blower, 1 Max Potion. I've seen lists that have this at 2, but Tord's list, according to Limitless TCG, has 1. 4 Puzzles of Time, 3 Rare Candies, and then, of course, the 4 count of Ultra Ball, a Parallel City, which can be really nice if you're against decks that want their own bench to be big. Or if you're against decks that want to play Parallel City, you can play it down and prevent them from hurting you. And then for supporters, we have 3 Brigette to get out Pokemon. Search your deck for 3 basics. I have 2 Cynthia in here. Tord played 2 Sycamore. The format that Tord was in, though, Cynthia wasn't around. I could see this count being a 1-1 line of Cynthia and Sycamore. I could see it still being 2 Sycamore. I went toward the Cynthia line just so we don't end up discarding resources that we need for our Garde lines. We're already playing sort of a thinner line and having to waste the puzzles to try to get back Gardevoirs just didn't sound right to me. So we're not doing it. But like I say, Tord plays better than I do. Maybe he's better at managing resources in a deck where they're kind of stretched thin. Not maybe, he is better. But for me, Cynthia seemed like a better fit. I may, as I get to know the deck more, change that back and either do 1 or 2 Sycamores. 2 Guzma, 2 Mallow, 3 N, just to really mess with your opponent, because it gets to the point for you that you don't need that much in-card draw, but it can be really nice to in your opponent down to like 2 or 3 cards, and then you use Zoroark and get 6 more cards. Well, you're great, and they're still playing with their tiny little hand. So that's really nice. So in is a great late game tool in a Zoroark deck, basically. Then we play 1 Choice Band, 1 Float Stone, and then, like I said, 4 Fairy Energy and 4 DCE. The DCE go on everything. The Fairy Energy can go on anything. And that's the deck in a nutshell. We will go ahead and I'll play 1 live battle. Hopefully I don't screw it up. And we'll have more matches with Garde.Tord, or whatever Tord ends up calling it, down the line. Okay, so looks like we're against a Buzzball deck. This is actually kind of good to be able to show, because it's a matchup you would think is pretty tough, and it can be tough with them having weakness on your Zoroarks. Ooh, and this is a rough start. I think we're going to go ahead and lead off with Mew. So we'll hit done. We get to go first at least, which is a great thing. And we will bench Lele for a Brigette. Okay, so we want 2 Zorua and a Ralts. Let's see. So we've prized 2 Zorua, we've prized 2 Ralts. That's a lot. Energy is the next fastest thing. We prized 1 DCE. We have 1 prize left that's not accounted for there. I'm not seeing it just yet. I was thinking it might be the Float Stone, but it's not. But anyway, we'll go ahead and hit done for now. Depending on what we top deck, it'll decide whether we in or Mallow next turn. That top deck does not do anything for us. So I think we're going to end. I want to use the Ultra Ball, but I'm not sure what I want to use it, like what I'm willing to discard. I think we can discard the Float Stone. And I guess we'll discard the Lele. I think that's okay. And we are going to get a Zoroark out. And then we'll play in. Definitely want to avoid losing the puzzles this early, if we can help it. Okay, so that's definitely not a great result for us. I'm going to trade away. I think I'll trade away Guzma. I'm probably making all kinds of mistakes here. So we got the Fairy Energy. So that's good. Next turn. Next turn we can do some fun things. I'm going to attach the Fairy Energy here. And then next turn we'll be able to Mallow, get Rare Candy, get the Gardevoir, and we'll also put down probably a DCE on either the Mew or the Ralts, depending on what lives through the turn. So we'll hit done for now. We see a Regirock come out. We see a Buzzwole get a strong energy. And then we see an Ultra Ball come down. I'm assuming with this they're going to get Octillery. I'm half expecting to see a Guzma play. Oh, nope, Cynthia. I was saying that mainly because they had a Rockruff in the active. So again, our top deck can do a lot to determine how we want to play this. Okay, so he's not going to get the KO here. Oh, he is. Oh, the Regirock. Okay, of course. That's fine. So we can promote Mew. We will play Evosoda to get another Zoroark-GX out. We do have another Ralts in deck. So I think we can Mallow. I think we'll use one trade. And see where that leaves us. And then potentially we'll use Ultra Ball for Ralts and Mallow for DCE plus Rare Candy for next turn. I think that's what our plan will be. Trade. Get out of here, Brigette. And I kind of don't like getting rid of the Ultra Balls, but I think it's worth it for what we're trying to do. So we get Ralts. And notice after we take this KO, our opponent is not going to have any energy in play. We're going to get a TCE and a Rare Candy. And we'll trade away the Max Potion. Because really in this matchup, the difference between Zoroark having full health or having 180 is very little. Most of their Pokemon are going to be able to one-hit KO. And then we will Riotous Beating for knockout. So I think our opponent was a little bit greedy there. And it may be coming back to bite them. I'm not even sure if I like the promotion of the Rockruff here, because they can't max Elixir onto Lycanroc. We see a Sycamore, a Float Stone onto Octillery, and a single attachment onto the Lycanroc. Okay. So So we're going to Rare Candy, Gardevoir, and I'm actually going to trade Ralts number 1, or additional Ralts away. I'd like to have it, but I don't want to trade anything else away. And if we can somehow get... We didn't get there. Okay. I was going to say, if we can somehow get enough for Mew to be able to copy Gardevoir, but that was kind of silly anyway. I don't know what I was thinking. So we'll go ahead and play Cynthia at this point. And here, I think we can safely trade away the Evosoda. Of course, with me incorrectly getting rid of the Ralts previously, that sort of messed things up for us. We will go ahead and take the Riotous Beating Knockout here. So our opponent is probably going to get Lele here. Oh, no, Buzzwole. Okay. I was expecting a Lele so that they could then get Lysander to take out the Gardevoir if they had a Choice Band. I'm expecting them to GX attack, basically. It doesn't really matter what they do. We haven't GX'd. We can't use their GX attack though. They need Guzma and a Choice Band, and they did not get it. So that is good for us. Let's see the numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is KO for us. So Garde. Let's go ahead and trade. We'll trade away the E-Hammer. While it's good in this matchup, it's not that important. And we'll trade away one of the rare candies. Now Guzma. And take a knockout with Infinite Force. I should have used Secret Spring there to stick probably the Fairy Energy on Mew, but I didn't. That was a small mistake. But I don't think that there's any way our opponent can keep us from winning this turn. So it sort of doesn't matter. So this is a good demonstration, I guess, on how powerful the addition of Gardevoir and Mew are into a Zoroark-based deck. I wanted to get cute there and have Mew use Infinite Force, but I also didn't want our opponent to quit. So we didn't. But anyway, I think that was a pretty good showing of how the deck can operate. With that, we'll go ahead, wrap things up for today, and we'll be back soon with probably an episode of Ho-Oh next, looking at another tournament match, and then we'll come back and do another episode. By the end of the week, I'll be able to get some more matches and have actually a dedicated, here's what Gardevoir looks like against this type of deck. And we'll go back and forth between Zoroark, Gardevoir, and our Ho-Oh deck for a while. And yeah, that's it. I'll see you next time. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe as appropriate. Thanks.